There we go.
Good morning, everyone. Joe and Hilda here again from Head Coach Online, doing another one of our little short video series. Today, looking at E Counselling, as they call it now, which is email counselling and also text-based counselling. So we're going to have a look at that today. So, Hilda, email counselling. What's your thoughts on that?
Email counselling, I think, would be okay if it was real time. So that you emailed me and I emailed you right back, and then you emailed me, almost like messaging.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think that's
The
okay.
normal way that it would work is that a client would send an email in their own time. And the general consensus is about 48 hours, a couple of days, you would then get a reply from your therapist. And that gives, the client time to compose and consider what they want to say. And then when they get a reply, they've got a few days to consider that and, to process that. So that's generally how it works. So there's usually a few days between those emails.
Right.
I'm just
I
wondering how you would think, Hilda, about not having any actual contact. So there will be no
I
video,
I
no
just
call.
don't I just don't think I would work that way.
Mhm.
I just don't think it would work for me at all. If you have one client, then fine. But if you're doing email counselling for a lot of clients and you've got emails coming in at all times, and then you've got to think about, well, what did we do with that client? I just think when you're doing it all live in some way, then you've got some rapport, you've got some idea of what's happening now, and emailing over a week would just drive me nuts, I think.
Well, I suppose and a lot of this stuff has stemmed from the pandemic. And I suppose it gives a client more options, which can be a good thing. But again, it's that bit for me, it would be the bit about there's no visual cues whatsoever. No, you don't even hear a voice. I think I would struggle with that.
Yeah, there's no video clues, there's no voice clues, there is only tone type clues. The kind of words people use, the kind of way that they string those words together.
And you could
Um,
get better at that. You could get better at picking up on that, perhaps, over
yeah,
a period of time.
yeah. So I think tone is the important thing to pick up, as well as the words, obviously, but the tone of those words, um, you can. It still would be difficult, I think, to pick up the undertones.
Yeah. Oh no, and I agree. I don't think it would be my way of working. Good for a client, again, gives them flexibility. People maybe perhaps with disabilities or struggling to get out. Again, they can do it in the comfort of their own home at their own time. Uh, one problem that comes right up for me is any risk that appears. So I think at the beginning of it, you would have to have a contract that clearly states what you do if there's any risk pops up, whether someone talks about suicide or harming themselves.
But
So
then again, if you're not having to reply for 48 hours,
exactly.
then the situation could have moved on
Yes.
to disaster
Hmm.
in that time,
Yeah.
or it might just have all just melted away, whatever was
Of
was
course.
going on,
Yeah.
and
And that's
everything in
something that has
between.
to be considered. And there's also the fact that I think maybe then even at the beginning would be making sure that they have contact numbers for a crisis. And then the responsibility again would go back onto that client to make that call.
Mhm.
Uh,
I certainly, I find it much easier on Messenger if people are wanting to do the
Well, that's
writing part of
the
it.
next bit of it is the text-based service.
Yeah.
It tends to be live, so it's in the moment. And I think again, certainly for younger people, and I know that things like Samaritans and there's children's-based services that operate these things. Uh, Again, wouldn't not be something I would really want to do because I couldn't type quick enough or
Hmm.
text quick enough. But I suppose for some people, it is an option,
Hmm.
and it could be a good
And
option.
I do a bit of that, to do a bit of that in Messenger, particularly through the anxiety support group.
Hmm.
I do a fair bit of short work with people
Yes.
wanting to vent or looking for some tools and techniques. I do a lot of that on Messenger, and I find that absolutely fine.
Hmm.
But I don't know that I would like to do longer term work with it,
I know that
because
there are some
instead
companies
of
that
notes, everything's on Messenger, and you have to scroll up,
yeah,
to go, well, what was the answer to that question that I asked?
yeah.
And you have to scroll back and forward, where normally I would have some written notes that
I
I,
think all in all, it's the fact that the rise of these types of therapy and things are uh, it's part of it. It's part of moving forward, and it does give options
absolutely,
to people, and they may very well suit certain people, and they may be very, very good for them. Although, as I've said, for me, I don't think it's not my type of work. But
yeah.
again, that's not to say that it's not a good thing.
Yeah, I think, yes, it might be good for some people, but maybe I'm not the therapist that they need
Yeah,
if they
and
want them to
that's
do
exactly
email
how I
work.
feel. Yeah, but
And
some
and I
people
think
may be.
that's the client choice,
Mhm.
isn't it? That if they want somebody to do email work with them, then they choose a therapist that does email work.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I would certainly never advertise myself
No,
as a
no, no.
therapist that does email work.
But I suppose what we're saying then is that at least it's something extra that can possibly be offered to clients, and some clients may find it useful.
Yeah. Sometimes clients will maybe email in between
Yeah,
sessions,
yeah, I've had that.
and they'll give you a big vent or something like that. And that really has got to be boundaried in some way.
Hmm.
There's got to be an agreement with the client and the therapist that that is okay. Um, so yes, in between work might be email if that has already been agreed in a contract.
Yes. So all in all, then it's as I say, it's not for us either me or you, but it can be a good thing.
Definitely can be a good thing, Joe, and it takes all kinds of therapists
Of
to
course it does.
meet
Yes.
everybody's needs,
Yeah.
and not one therapist will meet every single
Well, not
person's
one
need.
size fits all, and that's so
No,
true.
no. So thanks for that chat, Joe.
No, you're more than welcome. And thank you all for watching. And I hope that you found it informative, useful, and we'll see you again on the next one. So take good care. Bye bye.